Okay, hello and welcome to today's Centre for European Reform webinar with Greg Hands, the UK Minister of State for Trade Policy. Today we're going to be looking at trade in general, but also Greg's going to be talking to us about charting a path towards CPTPP, the UK's trade objectives for 2021 and beyond. And I should say that the opening remarks are going to be on the record. We will record it, and it's something that we will post to our website either later today or tomorrow. But the conversation that follows will be entirely off the record to allow for openness and a frank discussion. So if everyone could please respect that, we would be very grateful. Greg, over to you.
Well, thank you, Sam. Is my audio quality good? Yeah, perfect. Okay. Well, thank you. And thank you for this great opportunity, and delighted to be with such a distinguished audience, and also delighted to be with the Centre for European Reform. I've had a long history of doing your events. I think the first event I did with you was 2009, one of your Lisbon scorecard events, which now sounds like deep ancient history. That wasn't even the Lisbon Treaty. That was the Lisbon Agenda. Is that what it was called? The Lisbon Agenda, arising out of the 2000 EU summit in Lisbon, I think was the first event for you. So, always delighted to participate in your events, which are always very discursive and thought-provoking. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about UK trade policy in general and about CPTPP. I will say the world's hardest acronym to pronounce, which I'm sure you struggle with that one as well, Sam. The CPTPP, the Comprehensive and Progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership. And in my experience in trade, the harder the acronym and the longer the title, the more important the content can be. But look, so today's session focuses on UK trade policy in 2021 and beyond. And it's worth saying at the outset that 2020 obviously proved to be an incredibly challenging year across the board. But there is quiet and palpable optimism about the prospects for 2021, boosted by the rolling out of the COVID-19 vaccine, which I have to say I'm going to get next week. Delighted by that. And while the rollout is indeed promising, COVID-19 has never been solely an epidemiological challenge. The pandemic has seen an unprecedented, unparalleled disruption to global growth and world trade, reflected by falling production, lower consumption, and reduced levels of foreign direct investment. These trends, combined with a worrying rise in protectionist measures, mainly relating to medical goods, pharmaceuticals, medical devices, and so on, compound the breadth, depth, and length of this pandemic. Therefore, genuine recovery from COVID-19 means the rolling out of the vaccine must be twinned with the rolling back of protectionist measures and taking bold and ambitious steps to increase investments and level of global trade. And that's why I was delighted just last week to see the United States suspend all retaliatory tariffs on direct exports from the UK to the US, resulting from the Airbus dispute, including on our Scotch whisky, Irish whisky, pork, JCBs, Stilton, a real huge range of UK goods. Obviously, a similar move with the EU then followed, but I strongly believe that it was the UK's de-escalatory signal that we made right at the end of last year. The UK would not be rolling over the EU retaliatory tariffs in the Boeing dispute that I think showed a really strong message that the UK wants to see a solution to that tariff dispute and other tariff disputes with the US in the interests of our businesses and our consumers. Those disputes, in our view, benefit nobody, including Airbus and Boeing. So we will continue to engage with the US to agree a fair settlement to that dispute that permanently removes punitive tariffs as well. Which brings me to the specific subject of my remarks today, the Comprehensive and Progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership. The UK's accession to this £9 billion free trade area provides the strongest indication not only of the UK's route to recovery from COVID-19, but more broadly, clearly signals the nature and scale of the UK's global trading ambitions. I'd like to spend the next few minutes outlining the UK's rationale for joining this free trade area, the exciting opportunities arising from accession, and the next steps ahead before taking questions. Now, despite its somewhat cumbersome title, and already said the acronym, the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, or CPTPP, or it can be easy to use the Japanese name for it, TPP-11, represents one of the most exciting opportunities for the United Kingdom and forms an integral part of our global Britain agenda. The CPTPP, as you know, Sam, is a high standards agreement spanning 4 continents, formed of 11 like-minded trading nations who share a commitment to free trade, international cooperation, and the rules-based system. It combines long-standing close friends of the UK, like Japan, Australia, and New Zealand, with fast-growing developing markets like Vietnam and Malaysia. The pivotal free trade area of sovereign nations accounts for 13% of global GDP, and UK membership would increase this share to 16%. CPTPP removes tariffs on 95% of goods traded between members and reduces other barriers to trade across 4 continents. And I read, Sam, your recent piece on services trade, and you make some very good points there on the importance, which we should never forget, the UK economy and UK employment is about 80% services, and we need to be making sure that our FTA agenda very much works for the UK service industries. And that's also what I believe CPTPP does as well. So we have an excellent foundation from which to pursue membership, benefiting from more than £110 billion worth of trade with individual CPTPP members already, with average growth of 8% per annum. UK membership would take these strong bilateral relationships to a new level, opening up even more opportunities for our businesses and spurring stronger trade and investment. Furthermore, CPTPP membership fits squarely with the government's levelling up agenda. UK regions and nations exported between 1 billion and 3.7 billion worth of goods to CPTPP countries in 2019, 3.1 billion from the East Midlands of England, 2.4 billion from Scotland, 2 billion from the northwest of England, and so on. It is worth examining the specific benefits and opportunities for UK business in more detail. CPTPP will open up opportunities for UK businesses of all sizes, not least the small businesses which have suffered most during this pandemic. Access to the agreement's dedicated SME chapter will ease barriers to trade for small businesses by cutting tariffs and reducing red tape, giving thousands of businesses access to this most dynamic group of markets. Membership will allow us to develop modern digital trade rules, which facilitate free and trusted cross-border data flows, remove unnecessary barriers for business, and protect commercial source code and encryption. The data and digital provisions in CPTPP are truly gold standard. The agreement would also facilitate the swift elimination of tariffs on key UK exports, including whiskey and in automotive, and mutually beneficial rules of origin. And I know that everybody perks up on these kind of events when just the mention of the phrase rules of origin mean that content from any country within CPTPP will be classed as originating. To give just one example, cars made in the UK could use more Japanese originating car parts, such as batteries, and still qualify for tariff reductions when exported to other CPTPP member countries like Mexico or Canada. Business people would also benefit from easier travel between member countries arising from the potential for faster and cheaper visas. Crucially, CPTPP sets modern rules in areas of increasing importance for UK industry and businesses, such as digital, financial, professional, and business services. Digitally delivered services to CPTPP members, for example, hit £18.7 billion in 2019. And joining now creates an opportunity to unleash forward-leaning parts of our economy, such as this. And furthermore, membership puts the UK in a prime position to help shape these global rules in forward-leaning areas, such as digital and data and services. So with these opportunities awaiting, what are our next steps? What is the process, if you like? We've talked about the benefits, so what is the process? The UK submitted notification of intent to join on the 1st of February, And before commencing formal accession negotiations, we will publish an outline approach and a scoping assessment for the negotiations, as we also did last year for the US, Australia, and New Zealand, which will set out our negotiation objectives and the economic impact and benefits of accession. At that stage, we will also provide a formal response to the government's public consultation on UK CPTPP membership, which many of those on the call today will have contributed to. You may have, the government has not, we've done a summary of responses. We haven't yet done the government's response, which we will do when we publish the whole bundle of documents for accession. And we'll outline how our approach has been informed by the submission received from members of the public, businesses, and civil society organizations. Unlike the new and enhanced FTAs we have signed with Japan and are currently pursuing with Australia, New Zealand, and the USA, CPTPP is, of course, a pre-existing agreement signed by 11 countries and so far ratified by 7. The final decision on the terms of our accession will consider both the progress of bilateral negotiations with CPTPP members and our confidence that we will be able to accede on terms compatible with the UK's broader interests and domestic priorities. We've been consistently clear that the terms of UK accession must be right for companies, consumers, and farmers, as well as ensure our Conservative Party manifesto commitments of no compromise on food safety, environmental protection, and animal welfare standards. During the accession process, we will work with CPTPP members to ensure alignment between UK domestic policy and CPTPP provisions. CPTPP membership will complement and reinforce new and enhanced bilateral trade agreements we have already signed with 7 of the 11, Japan, Canada, Singapore, Vietnam, Chile, Peru, and Mexico, or are negotiating new ones with Australia and New Zealand, another 2. All of these provide an additional springboard to CPTPP accession. So I hope my high-level remarks, Sam, will give just a flavour of the exciting opportunities that await the UK upon its accession to this dynamic and fast-growing economic powerhouse, and how it strategically positions the UK within the wider Indo-Pacific region. We are bolstered in this effort not only by the region's enticing possibilities, but by the unambiguous support for UK membership from member state capitals across 4 continents. To put it briefly, all 11 existing members have welcomed the UK's intention to join. This is therefore not just about what the UK can take from the CPTPP, but what it can bring to the table, and in doing so advance the case for free trade, open supply chains, and global prosperity for the benefit of all. Thank you very much, Sam. I look forward to taking questions. Thank you.